Welcome to the Deep Dive, where all hell breaks loose when AI and SEO combine.
That's a pretty accurate way to put it.
Today, we are wrestling with the future of web traffic. Our SEO strategy and, frankly, our sleep schedule both depend on algorithms we fundamentally do not control.
And that tension is really the defining characteristic of the digital landscape right now, isn't it? We are moving from a system of measurable, predictable optimization, the SEO we all understood for decades, into one of just volatile, massive shifts driven by generative AI and large language models.
That is the essential conflict. We're tackling this seismic shift in web visibility driven by algorithm changes and, I think more importantly, a transformation in how people actually search for things.
Exactly.
So today we're diving deep into the materials our listeners shared, focusing intensely on the latest statistics, the key trends, and hopefully the operational strategies needed to thrive in this accelerating AI search era of 2026.
Our mission today is to filter this comprehensive stack of sources and pull out the definitive knowledge and, most importantly, the actionable insights.
Right. What can you actually do about it?
Exactly. We need to define the new metrics of success, because survival now means moving beyond this obsession with traditional organic clicks and shifting our focus entirely to citations and, authoritative visibility.
Yeah.
We have to analyze the data showing exactly how user behavior has changed and how content strategy has to evolve to not just survive, but to truly capitalize on this new environment.
Okay, so before we plunge into LLMs and CTRs, we have to talk about something a little unexpected in the listener's submission.
Oh, yeah.
As you know, we review every document provided, and this stack included a detailed chemistry thesis.
Yes, the molecular equations. It detailed the oxidation of hexadecadenoic acid by O2. I had to look up how to pronounce that one.
Me too, right. And it outlined the precise, predictable results. Hexanol, 7-oxytetanoic acid, and oxirane 2-carbaldehyde.
Yeah.
I mean, the author was so meticulous, confirming the formula weight of the acid is 252.398.
That document, while it's highly specialized, is actually a beautiful example of the world we used to inhabit in SEO. It describes controlled chemical reactions, a defined input, a governed process, and a predictable, measurable output. If you apply the same steps, you get the same compounds, the system is consistent.
And that consistency is what we are now lacking entirely in the digital world.
Exactly. The current state of AI and SEO is the polar opposite of that. We are dealing with volatile, black box algorithms, massive and sudden shifts in user behavior, and outputs, these AI overviews, that seem to defy all traditional ranking logic.
So we've gone from predictable chemistry to something else.
We have moved from a controlled, measurable environment to a highly reactive, unpredictable one. So we'll set aside the world of stable molecules for now, but we will use that idea of consistency versus volatility as our guide, focusing instead on the explosive, unpredictable data that's defining this new digital landscape.
Let's start by establishing the scope of this volatility. We've been talking about the shift for a few years, but the data shared here shows that the speed of adoption is accelerating dramatically. How quickly are AI tools becoming the default search method globally?
The word accelerating doesn't quite capture it. It feels more like a phase change. We are looking at adoption metrics that are far outpacing even the explosive growth of, say, the early social media platforms. But this time, the disruption is aimed directly at commercial search and information discovery.
So let's put some staggering numbers behind that. What is the sheer scale, particularly for platforms like ChatGPT, which are really acting as primary information gateways now?
ChatGPT is, by any measure, a global phenomenon.
Yeah.
And it's basically an alternate front door to the internet.
An alternate front door, I like that.
It has 700 million weekly active users.
Weekly, not monthly.
Weekly. That translates to over 5 billion monthly visits. And that places it, astonishingly, as the fourth most visited website globally.
Fourth most visit. Just think about that for a second. What's ahead of it? Google, YouTube.
Exactly. The major search and social giants. A generative AI tool is right there in that competitive landscape in terms of raw traffic volume. It's not a niche tool anymore.
No, not at all. That suggests two things to me. First, that users are totally comfortable treating it as a primary research tool. And second, that its influence is distributed globally, not just concentrated in tech hubs like Silicon Valley.
Precisely. And the data confirms that widespread adoption. What's particularly insightful is the breakdown. Adoption rates are over 4 times higher in lower-income countries than in high-income countries.
Wow. Why do you think that is?
Well, this suggests that AI tools are quickly filling an information gap. Or maybe they're offering a superior, simplified search experience where traditional web navigation might be slow or costly on mobile data plans.
So it's a leapfrog technology in some ways.
It's truly democratizing information access, even if it presents new challenges around citation accuracy and bias.
Okay, but the most crucial player in all of this remains Google. They obviously didn't stand still. They have fully integrated AI overviews, or AIOs, into their primary search results.
Absolutely. Google's reach ensures that this transformation is fully mainstream. Their AI overviews now reach 2 billion monthly users globally and are active in over 200 countries. But Google didn't stop with just the AIO summaries. They also introduced Google AI Mode.
Which is their dedicated, purely conversational search environment. So basically a direct competitor to ChatGPT built right into the search page.
Correct. And Google AI Mode already has 100 million users in just the US and India, its first major markets.
100 million already.
This rapid triple-digit million adoption just underscores Google's foundational bet. Conversational search isn't a feature, it's the new default user experience. They're preparing for a world where the search bar becomes obsolete, replaced by a text prompt to conversation.
And if we look at the raw growth curve from the sources, we can see why every strategic meeting needs to pivot immediately. What does the year-over-year growth of this AI-driven traffic actually look like?
It is vertical, just a straight line up. AI search traffic is up a staggering 527% year over year.
527%.
Yes. Reports comparing data from early 2024 to early 2025 across monitored properties show that while AI currently makes up only about 0.1% of overall web referral traffic.
Which sounds tiny.
It does sound tiny, but that growth curve is terrifyingly steep. You can't dismiss 0.1% when it's growing by over 500% annually. It illustrates the velocity of this change. It's not about where it is, it's about where it's going.
Which brings us to the deadline that every company has to internalize. AI search is expected to drive more website visits than traditional organic search by 2028.
That is the key projection from the materials. And honestly, I think that might be conservative. If Google decides to push AI mode to become the default search interface, completely replacing the traditional 10 blue link results.
Which they could do tomorrow.
They could, and that transition would happen much, much sooner. This will cause what we're calling the great traffic compression, a fundamental reduction in organic traffic opportunities for everyone who hasn't adapted. We're moving from a game of volume to a game of precision.
And this compression causes so much anxiety because, as we said, our old rules are breaking. Let's really dig into the algorithmic challenge. This reality that traditional SEO success that meticulously earned page 1 ranking no longer guarantees you any visibility in this AI-driven world.
This is the core volatility we mentioned, the disruption to our neat and tidy chemical reaction. We call this the ranking paradox.
Ranking paradox.
Right. If you are ranking in position 1 on Google, the logical assumption for 20 years has been that you are the most authoritative source, and therefore the AI should cite you. It just makes sense.
But the data provided on this point is, well, it's explosive.
It is. Only 12% of ChatGPT citations match URLs that are even on Google's first page for the same query.
Only 12%. So 88% of the time, it's not citing anyone on page 1.
Exactly. Think about the years of effort and millions of dollars spent targeting those top 10 spots.
Yeah.
88% of the time, ChatGPT is looking somewhere else entirely.
That is a total failure of correlation between the traditional ranking signal systems and these new LLM citation systems. So where is the AI getting its information if not from the best ranked pages?
And this is where the paradox deepens. ChatGPT often cites significantly lower ranking search results. Specifically, pages in positions 21 and higher almost 90% of the time.
So page 3 and beyond, pages that most SEOs would consider basically invisible.
Precisely. This is the ultimate proof that AI systems are fundamentally evaluating content differently than traditional Google organic ranking factors, which rely so heavily on link equity, domain authority, and traditional relevance signals. The old playbook is obsolete.
So if they aren't prioritizing links and domain authority, what are the machine learning systems prioritizing? What is the new currency?
The new currency is content extractability and structured authority. The AI models are not reading web pages like a human researcher would. They're not appreciating your prose. They are parsing content based on highly specific criteria. They are prioritizing content chunks, overall quality, and immediate relevance to the specific question asked. The machine learning studies in our sources confirm this. AI systems are moving past traditional factors like page speed or link quantity, and they're favoring content that is modular, highly predictable, and easy to parse. This is why a lower-ranking page that happens to have perfect internal structure can leapfrog a high-authority site for a citation.
And freshness is a non-negotiable part of this new currency, isn't it? I saw some numbers on that.
Absolutely vital. LLMs are trained to prioritize up-to-date information to avoid hallucination and provide immediate relevance. The data shows that AI search platforms prefer content that is 25.7% fresher than the content cited in traditional organic results. We're talking about a massive emphasis on content maintenance and rapid updating.
Okay, give us the hard number on content freshness from the LLM side. I think it was for ChatGPT specifically.
Right. In the case of ChatGPT, 76.4% of its most cited pages were updated in the last 30 days.
Wow, over 3/4.
It makes a clear, data-driven case. Consistent content updating and maintenance is now a core component of any AI visibility strategy. It's far more critical than simply having high link equity from 5 years ago. You need to treat your content library less like a museum and more like a constantly updated newspaper.
Okay, this shift in algorithmic preference, combined with that staggering adoption velocity, leads us directly to the core commercial challenge, the collapse of the click-through rate, or CTR. If the AI is giving you the answer right there on the results page, the user has absolutely no incentive to click through to my website.
We are firmly in a zero-click reality. This isn't entirely new, of course. For years now, roughly 60% of searches performed on traditional engines have yielded no clicks at all.
Because of things like knowledge panels and featured snippets, right?
Exactly. Those SRP features were already answering the query directly. The AI summary just formalizes and accelerates that trend into hyperdrive.
So what is the quantified impact of AI overviews on click behavior? The data was pretty stark.
The data is definitive. When an AI summary appears at the top of the search results, the click rate for the traditional organic links below it is dramatically reduced to only 8%.
Just 8%? And what is it without the summary?
If you compare that to searches where no summary appears, the click rate for the top organic results is nearly double, around 15%. This confirms that users are actively substituting the AI summary for a web page visit.
And what percentage of users are satisfied enough with that AI summary that they just stop? They take no further action.
But 26% of searches that show an AI summary end right there.
A quarter of them.
Users treat the summary as the complete, satisfactory answer. They found the information they needed without ever leaving Google. In comparison, only 16% of searches showing only traditional results end without further action.
So what's the bottom line number? What's the overall damage?
The overall impact is profound. AI overviews reduce clicks to websites by 34.5% overall. The great traffic compression isn't a theory. It is a measurable statistical reality.
So if we are losing clicks, if our primary measure of SEO success for a decade is just collapsing, what is the new metric? We can't just panic. We have to look at AI visibility.
This is the strategic pivot. This is the most important thing to grasp. We need to define and track AI visibility. This metric tracks how often your brand or your content is extracted and appears in the output of the major LLMs, Google AIOs, ChatGPT, Perplexity, you name it. It's about being recognized as an authoritative source, even if the user never leaves the search engine interface.
But does being cited as a source actually offer any commercial benefit? I mean, beyond just brand awareness, if the traffic volume is compressed so much.
Absolutely. While the volume is low, the citation matters a great deal. The data shows that being featured as an AI overview source increases the click-through rate from a baseline of 0.6% to 1.08% for that cited link.
So it nearly doubles the CTR for that specific link.
It does. And this reinforces the core thesis. Citation and brand mention matter more than volume alone. If a user's going to click, they are most likely to follow the explicit source that the AI recognized. It's a stamp of approval. It's the AI saying, this is the source of truth.
Okay, now we come to what I think is the most critical piece of data in this entire stack, the one that should transform budget planning meetings everywhere. It's the surprising reality regarding the quality of the visitor who actually does click through from an AI source.
Right, because despite the low volume of traffic, which, again, only makes up about 0.1% of overall web referral traffic today, the quality is disproportionately high.
How high?
This is the data point that shifts the entire strategic calculation. The average AI search visitor is worth 4.4 times more than a traditional organic search visitor.
4.4 times more.
Based purely on conversion rate, it completely reframes the objective of SEO. We are no longer chasing volume, we are chasing highly qualified, high-intent opportunity.
4.4 times more valuable. That is a massive multiplier. So why? Why is this visitor so much better? Why are they less likely to bounce and more likely to actually convert when they land on your site?
This is where we go back to our chemistry analogy. In the old system, a traditional search user was like a raw, unfiltered input into your sales funnel.
Right, they had a vague idea. Maybe they were just starting their research.
Exactly. They had vague intent. They required significant friction and time on your site to qualify themselves.
Hmm.
The LLM changes that dramatically. The AI system acts as a high-intent pre-qualifier and an information filter.
Meaning the user has already absorbed the synthesized information, the comparisons, or the detailed definition before they ever click.
Precisely. The AI has already gathered and synthesized the core information the user needed. It may have compared options for them, defined complex terms, or confirmed the suitability of your product or service. So by the time that user clicks through to your site, they arrive with stronger, more focused intent.
They're further down the funnel.
They're effectively 1 or 2 steps further down the funnel than a traditional organic search visitor. They aren't looking for basic information anymore. They are looking for a transaction, for customization, or for deep engagement with the specific topic the LLM already defined for them.
Okay, so the engagement metrics must reflect this higher intent as well?
They do, significantly.
Yeah.
The AI referral visits show superior engagement across the board. For retail sites, we're talking about a 27% lower bounce rate,
That's huge.
a huge improvement in efficiency. And there's a 38% longer session duration, and they view more pages per session. It's a fundamentally different, more engaged user.
So the strategic mandate becomes clear. Success in the AI era requires a multifaceted approach to tracking. We have to look past those traditional vanity traffic numbers and focus on this high-value conversion pathway.
Precisely. You have to track AI visibility across all the major LLMs. You need to obsessively track engagement, quality time on page, scroll depth, conversion rate, because that reveals the true quality of the small amount of high-value traffic you do receive.
And you have to connect that to the bottom line.
You must integrate these metrics into your ROI calculation, recognizing that a small increase in AI visibility can yield the same revenue as a huge lift in low-intent organic traffic. The focus is no longer the top of the funnel, but the quality of the visitor at the very moment they arrive on your site.
Okay, so if the algorithms are changing this radically, our playbook has to change just as radically.
It has to. Success in AI search depends entirely on optimizing for 3 main factors: content clarity, technical structure, and above all else, trustworthiness.
And trustworthiness, that really starts with Google's expanded framework, EEAT, which stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. We are seeing hard data proving that LLMs prioritize these signals over just raw link volume.
Credibility is paramount. You have to remember, LLMs are terrified of hallucinating or citing poor quality sources. It's their biggest vulnerability.
It's their PR nightmare.
Exactly. So they actively seek content supported by named authors with relevant credentials, original content that contains proprietary or first-hand data, and sites with a strong, focused, topical domain trust. These signals allow the AI systems to confirm that the information they're about to cite is reliable and grounded in real experience.
This reliance on real experience and sort of conversational authority, it explains the surprising dominance of user-generated content, or UGC, platforms in AI overviews. It seems so counterintuitive that platforms like Reddit and Quora would outrank professional publishers.
It speaks to the authenticity that LLMs are chasing. UGC sites are heavily favored by Google AIOs because they are rich with natural language questions and unique, real-world answers that aren't typically homogenized in traditional corporate articles.
All the data showed.
Quora is the most commonly cited website overall, and Reddit is second, appearing in 5.5% of all AIOs. The LLM is seeking that unfiltered human experience.
But hold on, we have to reconcile this with the fact that, as the sources also mention, Google appears biased toward featuring big, established, high-authority brands in general.
Right, and that creates this constant tension for marketers. It's a conflict between authentic niche expertise and mainstream brand trust.
So that's the real conflict for us.
Yeah.
Do we try to mimic the UGC format, or do we lean into our institutional authority?
The best strategy is to lean into both. The data shows that 50% of the links included in ChatGPT 4 responses point to business and service websites.
Okay, so half the time it's businesses.
Exactly. This confirms that high-quality, informative content residing on company sites, your articles, your guides, your service pages, is highly valuable to LLMs, especially when the user is researching with transactional intent or comparing products. The informative content on your site has to be authoritative and structurally perfect for extraction.
So in traditional link volume, just the sheer quantity of backlinks is really taking a backseat to these broader brand signals.
Absolutely. The sources confirm this pivot away from sheer volume. Strong online branding correlates positively with visibility in AIOs. Branded web mentions and branded anchors were identified as significantly stronger predictors of AIO visibility than simple backlink volume.
So it's less about who links to you and more about who is talking about you.
Yes, the LLMs are looking for high-quality, authoritative references to your brand across the web, and they're treating that as a true indicator of trust far more than a simple hyperlink.
Okay, so once you have that authority established, the next critical step is ensuring your content is structured for machine consumption. You said it before. If the AI can't easily chunk or extract the key answer, it just won't cite you, no matter how authoritative you are.
It can't. It's a technical limitation.
So how does a marketer ensure their content is chunkable for the machine? What does that mean tactically?
It starts with a question-based structure. Remember, informational queries like how to or what is are the ones that trigger AIOs 88% of the time. You must design your content to answer those questions immediately and obviously.
So in the headings themselves.
Yes, use your H2s and H3s as exact conversational questions that mirror what the user is asking. Instead of a vague title like key components, use what are the 3 key components of X? Be explicit.
And the answer has to be immediate and concise. You have to resist the urge to build up to the answer with a long intro.
You have to fight every writer's instinct. Provide the direct, concise answer within the first 40 to 60 words of that section. The optimal structure for LLM extraction often follows a very predictable pattern. A crisp definition, followed immediately by one supporting detail, and then a concrete example.
Definition, detail, example.
That highly predictable formulaic flow is instantly recognizable and extractable by the LLMs. If you bury the answer in a beautiful narrative paragraph, the AI will just move on to the next source that's easier to parse.
This level of precision requires an understanding of technical markup, which explicitly tells the AI what the content is and how it relates to the query.
Technical markup is absolutely non-negotiable for AI visibility now. You must utilize semantic HTML, the structural tags like H2 for your headings, OL for lists, and strong for emphasis. These are not just for visual presentation for humans, they are critical structural cues for the AI parser.
And critically, you need relevant schema markup.
Yes. Schema is how you speak the machine's language.
What schema types are newly essential for this AI extraction readiness?
Well, beyond the standard article schema that everyone should be using, you must deploy FAQ page schema on any dedicated FAQ sections to explicitly signal those question-answer pairs. If you are comparing products, use product or review schema aggressively. These technical tags explicitly state the content's purpose and its relationship to the query, vastly increasing the likelihood of citation. Making your content machine-readable is the new baseline for SEO.
We also have to acknowledge the rise of multimodal AI models like Gemini and GPT-4o. This means text alone isn't enough anymore. The visuals on the page are also now input signals for the AI.
We can no longer treat images as just decorative elements. Content should include annotated screenshots, custom diagrams, or charts that illustrate concepts clearly. And, critically, you have to ensure you use descriptive file names and keyword-rich alt text for all of your images.
Is there a rule of thumb for image frequency?
An optimal strategy is to include a visual element with robust metadata every 500, 700 words or so. This metadata helps the AI interpret the visual context and potentially include it in a generated answer, which reinforces your EEAT and overall clarity.
Finally, let's quickly touch on the foundation of this shift, voice search. While it was maybe slightly less impactful than we all predicted 5 years ago, voice optimization really provided the essential blueprint for this new conversational SEO.
It really did. Voice search trained the algorithms to handle long-tail natural language queries. Voice queries are inherently conversational phrases like, what's the best local spot for a quick vegan lunch near me?
Yeah.
Instead of just typing vegan lunch Chicago.
So the content needs to be optimized for these longer conversational keywords.
Right, incorporating modifiers like how, what, where, and for beginners. You need to write content that sounds like natural speech, not like a machine query.
And for many local businesses, voice search remains a critical funnel.
Oh, absolutely essential. Voice search is dominated by near me and navigational queries. So for them, optimizing your Google Business Profile, or GBP, with extreme detail ensuring consistent hours, services, and local listings across platforms like Yelp and the Better Business Bureau is the primary requirement for maintaining local voice visibility and driving actual walk-in traffic. The AI is looking for authoritative, verified local data before it recommends a physical location to a user.
Okay, so we've established that the speed of this shift is just massive, and the demand for content freshness, that 76% updated within 30 days, is relentless. The critical question for operational teams is, how do we possibly keep up with this velocity while maintaining the EEAT quality demanded by the LLMs?
And that is the billion-dollar question. The answer is leveraging AI for efficiency and scale.
Using AI to fight AI.
Essentially, yes. AI tools are driving speed and content production at a cost that was previously unthinkable. Just look at the adoption among practitioners. 87% of marketers now use AI for content creation, and an astonishing 74% of all new web content is now AI-assisted.
So only about a quarter of new web content is entirely human-created.
That's right. The scale has tipped.
And the cost differential makes this volume sustainable, which is the key.
It's the only way it's sustainable. AI content averages about $131 per blog post, compared to the average of $611 for purely human-written content. This massive cost efficiency allows companies to increase their content output by orders of magnitude.
And the operational lift is significant. The data said marketers using AI publish 42% more content monthly, something like 17 articles compared to 12 for those who don't use AI. But it's not just about the final draft. AI is assisting across the entire workflow, handling the more mundane tasks.
And that workflow efficiency is what frees up the human expertise to do the high-value work. AI is heavily used for the initial topic planning and brainstorming. 76% of marketers rely on it for that.
I know I do.
Right. And for generating initial outlines for complex content, that's 73%. And for performing content updates and refreshes, 67%. It handles the heavy lifting of structure, scale, and basic research, allowing the human experts to focus on the refinement stage, which is the key differentiator.
That refinement stage is the crucial quality control gate. Because while AI can generate massive volume, the human element still dictates whether that content achieves the necessary authority signals to win in the rankings or, more importantly, gets cited by the LLMs.
The data supports this hybrid approach completely. While 86.5% of content ranking in the top 20 is at least partially AI-generated, which suggests AI-assisted content can certainly rank well.
It can get you in the game.
It gets you in the game. But purely AI content rarely reaches that coveted position, #1 in organic Google results. The most successful approach remains the two-step method. Use AI for the initial draft or the outline, then engage human experts for dramatic enhancement.
What exactly are the human experts adding during this refinement stage? What are the things that differentiate the content and satisfy the LLM's hunger for EEAT?
They inject the proprietary elements that AI cannot fabricate. It can't make this stuff up. This includes unique details from your experience, proprietary first-hand data from your company, exclusive expert quotes you sourced, lessons learned from real-world case studies and internal company statistics.
Things only you would know.
Exactly. This is what builds true authority and separates your content from the ocean of generic AI-generated material that's flooding the web. And crucially, humans are responsible for ensuring that content freshness, as we noted, updating and republishing 76.4% of content every 30 days requires dedicated human oversight and strategy.
And we have concrete evidence that focusing on these new AI-friendly factors actually works. Let's look at the machine learning study that was included, which was designed specifically to predict high page ranking.
This machine learning model provides the scientific validation for our whole strategic pivot. The study demonstrated that the model performed best when it used a filtered feature set, what they termed the FF feature design, which prioritized factors that support rapid machine extraction over traditional SEO factors.
And what were those specific factors? What proved most predictive of high ranking in this AI era?
The core predictors were snippet type, or ST, which relates to how well the content can generate a featured snippet or an AIO. Mobile speed, MSP, meta description length in characters, MDLC, and keyword in URL, KWURL.
And what's interesting is what's not on that list.
Precisely. Note that traditional heavyweight signals like link quantity or domain authority were intentionally filtered out of the most predictive model. This proves that high performance is tied to structural readiness and user experience, not just legacy authority signals.
It's fascinating that MDLC meta description length is so critical. Why would a shorter meta description be predictive of high-ranking success in this AI environment? It seems like such a small thing.
A shorter, focused meta description signals to the AI system that the content is concise and immediately relevant. It facilitates rapid extraction for AIO generation. If the meta description is rambling or too long, it suggests the content may lack the focus clarity that the LLMs prioritize. In short, these technical factors, often overlooked in legacy SEO, are now absolutely foundational to being extractable by an LLM.
And the sources provide a longitudinal case study confirming this framework, moving it from a machine learning theory to proven practice.
Yes, the case study validated the strategy over 4 months. A blog focused purely on optimizing these identified SEO factors. Structural clarity, mobile speed, and focused meta descriptions experienced dramatic, measurable improvement.
What were the results?
By moving away from a legacy link-heavy approach and focusing on machine readability, they saw an increase in users from 82 to 8057 and sessions from 119 to 846,
That's a huge jump.
a nearly 10x improvement. The scientific evidence supports the strategic pivot entirely. The new rules, though volatile and chaotic, can yield predictable results if they're applied correctly.
So we have covered a vast amount of ground today navigating this transformation of search. We defined the dramatic traffic shift driven by colossal AI adoption and the subsequent contraction of clicks into the zero-click reality.
And then we found the silver lining.
We did. We then realized the higher value of the AI visitor, 4.4 times more valuable, and detailed the precise content structure required for LLM visibility and extraction readiness.
The takeaway is clear. The volatility of this new digital environment demands a calculated response, not panic. Success requires tracking AI visibility across all major LLMs, prioritizing conversational and well-structured content, and recognizing that brand authority signals web mentions, named authors, proprietary data now significantly outweigh old link metrics for AI search features.
The game has changed.
The focus is no longer on ranking a page in position 1. It's about making your content so perfectly structured and so credible that it becomes the undeniable source chosen for extraction and citation by the generative AI engine.
This leads us to a final provocative thought for you to consider as you adapt your strategy. Given that the average AI search visitor is worth 4.4 times more than a traditional organic search visitor, and that authority and branding are now dominant visibility factors, is the biggest risk today not a lack of traffic volume, but a failure to fully optimize your site's conversion pathway to capitalize on the highly qualified, high-value AI traffic you are already receiving?
The clicks may be few, but their conversion potential is unprecedented.